everyone, it is Sayadיר here. Haven't done a video in a while, that's fine, I'll talk about that in a second, but the basic gist of this video is that I will be kind of showing my visual novel collection, and by that I mean the hard copies I actually have of visual novels, not like every game that I've played in my life or every VN in my Steam library or that I have digitally downloaded. No, these are games that I actually own and can hold in my hands, thank God. I don't collect every single VN that I can find. I mainly try to collect every hard copy of an Otome game that's been officially localized, so officially in English. Any of those that have hard copies, because Otome games are kind of my main bread and butter, and Otome games, in case you don't know, being visual novels that are romance focused and mainly for a female audience. Yeah, but I do try to collect other visual novel hard copies when I can find them, just because I prefer being able to look at them. It just makes me happy, and I prefer just being able to have a hard copy. It's kind of like a library, but of visual novel games. So, if you don't really want to hear the whole spiel about what I've been doing this summer and during this whole time, you can skip to this time mark over here, whatever that time mark may be, that time stamp I should say. But basically, I've been very busy. Whenever I start making videos again, I always tell myself, yeah, I'm really gonna get into the jive again. I'm gonna maybe do a video a week, every 2 weeks, something like that. And I end up getting busy or distracted and not doing that. So as much as I enjoy making videos, especially visual novel ones, it's just difficult. I also, this past summer, I graduated college. I'm now 22 years old. I turned 22 this month. I have a Bachelor's of Science in Game Design, which is super exciting. I've been working at my job, which is remote, which is really lucky. Been doing that. So that's what my summer has mainly been in the past few months in general. And also I've just been distracted playing games in my free time when I have it. Lots of Fire Emblem always. Animal Crossing came out, so that's been a thing obviously for most people. And also Star Wars The Old Republic, and past 2 months have been mainly Final Fantasy XIV. That's been constant. So that's been my time. Anyways, I will get into the actual content y'all are probably here for momentarily, so see you in a sec. Also, a quick disclaimer, this video is going to be pretty unscripted. I kind of know what I'm going to be saying about each game, but basically I'm going to be kind of dividing the games into different chunks, talking about each VN that I have briefly. Some of them I won't talk about very much because I have multiple copies of the same game. But yes, so far it has been pretty unscripted, and I'm used to doing more scripted stuff for my VN content. But I figured, why not just give it a go? So we'll see how that goes. Alright, see you in a sec. So I'm first just giving a little bit of a video of my actual setup here as a whole, instead of delving into each game first. Well, okay, I'll go over figures first and then we'll get into the games, but we have Xenos from Final Fantasy, my man. We have Shion, my favorite Higurashi girl, Impy and Cardia from Code Realize, which is not my favorite VN series, but I do like Impy. We have the Nitro Plus section with my 2 Sai and Uta figures. I love that VN, and my Aoi figure, and I love her so much. Oh, a Pokemon, we love Mime Jr. We have Tataru from Final Fantasy as well, my other Final Fantasy favorite. And then over here back we have Oshawott and Piplup, who are 2 of my other favorite Pokemon. And then of course we have the coasters. We have Annette Fire Emblem, Erica Fire Emblem, and then the big centerpiece here, the Fata Morgana poster. But yes, this is the basic overview of all my visual novels. Over here we mainly have PC games, which then goes into Switch games, PSP games, PS3 and PS4, which I don't have a lot of here, and then my Vita games. So, we will get into it and go into each title. Okay, so these are the first 4 we're getting into. All 4 of these mean a lot to me. And, alright, first of all, we have the House in Fata Morgana. I have multiple copies of this, so I won't talk about it the second time I show it very much, but I adore this game, obviously by the huge ass poster on my wall. I also cosplayed as one of the characters from it, and I have been meaning to cosplay as this character, the maid, because she's my favorite character, and it's just a really heart-wrenching story. It deals with some really seriously heavy stuff and subject matter, but it's just a really beautiful story, and I really love tragedy. I really love gothic stories. I really love romantic horror. This isn't a romantic horror game, but there are aspects of both in it for sure. So I love anything that deals with those two themes, those two genres, even if they're not always the main genre. If they have it in it, I will probably like it. But yeah, great visual novel, love it. And next we have Saya no Uta, which is my #1 favorite of all time. Obviously my username is Saya Deer, so yes, it is inspired by Saya no Uta. I have kind of told this story before in the past in other videos, but not like that much. I basically first played this at a very young age. I was in 7th grade, and you should not play this game when you're that age, when you're not an adult, because it is an adult game. It's not like the main focus of the game, but like, bro, don't play that when you're like, I don't know, I was between 10 and 12 years old, which is not the intended audience at all, but it was my first visual novel. I like found it online and I was like, huh, what is this? I've never experienced anything like this. This is amazing. So it's just like very near and dear to my heart. It's just a part of my soul at this point in time. And I feel like if I had first played it at 22, the age I am now, instead of, oh my god, it's been like at least 10 years that I played it. 10 years ago, wow. Okay, if I played it first at this age, I would still definitely like it, but I don't think it would be my like #1 favorite, but because it's just so sentimental at this point, it's gotta be #1. So I love this game. I also have cosplayed as her, Saya, my favorite character. Wow, oh my god, okay. Next we have You and Me and Her, or Totono. I was really excited when this game was first gonna be localized, when they announced that it was gonna be localized and released in the West. It's really good. A lot of people compare it to Doki Doki Literature Club, and I'm someone who really loves both of those games. I think they're both really good stories and deal with completely different themes. There's one kind of similarity between these two games, but they're not similar. Like, let's be real, guys. They're not the same type of game. Doki Doki did not steal the story from Totono. They have very different stories and very different characters, but they're both really good. This one, I honestly feel like if this were out in English when I was like 11 years old, this would probably be my #1, but right now it's like my #4 favorite just because I get sentimental about stuff if I played it at a certain time. But yeah, also romantic horror in a way, not entirely, but a little bit romantic horror. Saya no Uta was definitely romantic horror. You're sensing a theme here, clearly, of my favorites. And finally in this pile we have Euphoria. You could classify this as romantic horror, let's be real. It's vaguely romantic horror. It's a game that's known for being infamous in its subject matter and its content being gross. And like, yes, it is gross. Yes, I do like to clown on various scenes in this game, but guys, it's not that bad. Come on, it's like the classic game that people who have played 3 visual novels like to go to when they make content that's very clickbaity and just, you can probably think of like 3 YouTubers I'm referring to at this point. Anyways, not to be salty, people can do what they want, it just makes me annoyed. It's a good game. The story seems really basic at first, but then you get more into it and you realize, oh, there's actually some substance to this. So for that reason, it would be in my top 10 favorites, not because it's like amazing, but it's better than you'd think. And I also have a lot of sentimental attachment to this game because of like all the memories of me playing it, all the memories of me talking about it with friends. I cosplayed it with some of my friends. It was fun. I love this game. Okay, this is the please don't judge me pile for a multitude of reasons. Alright, which one's first? Yes, okay. Kindred Spirits on the Roof. It's a Yuri game. that I've been meaning to play since I bought it, but I haven't played it yet, and it looks really cute. The basic gist of it is like, from what I remember, it's two like lesbian ghost lovers haunting a school, but they just are trying to set up all the other girls at the school with one another, from what I remember. So it's a really cute concept, and I love the idea, and the art's cute, and everyone says it's really good. I just need to like actually play it. Anyways, alright. Also, don't hate me. Okay, so this is one of the Rants games. Okay. Once again, do not crucify me for my opinion. I love the idea of the Rants series so much. I love Silk. I love Rants. There are other characters who are cute too, but those two are my favorites, even though, you know, obviously they're the main characters. I love the idea that it's like a game with gameplay, like an RPG, but also has, you know, not safe for work content. I respect that. But when I'm like reading through a visual novel, I'm not there for gameplay. When they throw in mini games, I cannot handle it. It like frustrates me and it distracts me from the actual story when it's primarily a game meant to be where you're reading stuff, right? So this being mostly gameplay, it's kind of like, I don't know, I've sat down, I tried playing it for a few hours, and I was like, no, I cannot play this gameplay, it's just, I don't like it. Anyways, I like everything else about it except actually playing it and reading through it. So that's Rants. Otherwise, respect it. Okay, don't judge me. Here we have Armored Warrior Iris. It's not very deep. Do you like aliens with girls? Or like monstery people? This is the game. Anyways, we're not gonna talk about that one. This one, I think I covered it up sufficiently, but it isn't not a safe for work cover, so it's, you know, okay, sexy games make sexy games. It would not install on my computer. RIP. So I need to keep trying, but like, I have other games to play, so I haven't gotten around to it, but you know, clock up, right? Okay, and this one, this is Happy Mayor. I love the idea. It revolves around like lucid dreaming and stuff, and I love the opening song and the music in general and the vibe they're going for with the aesthetics, but I started playing it and I was like, this is not really my thing. I don't really love the art style, and this is really dumb, but the user interface bothered me. I didn't like how it looked, and obviously that's not gonna make or break a game, but that can kind of impact my desire to keep playing if I think the user interface is ugly and if I'm not super immediately drawn into a story. So I'll probably come back to this at some point, but for now it's not really a big priority on my list. Now, these are my 3 Atome games that I have on PC, 2 of them being manga gamer ones. So we have Fashioning Little Miss Lonesome. I respect the hell out of this game, but it also makes me sad sometimes because it is a 18+ Atome game. It's one of the only 18+ Atome games that have been localized. We really don't have that many, so it makes me upset because I'm like, wow, there's a really small selection we got going here when you compare it to the 18+ VNs that are for a male audience. It's really sad, because there are a lot in Japan that exist for women, but they haven't really brought over that many of them, or people haven't really made that many original ones either. So while I do like this game, I prefer more in the story department. The story is kind of uninteresting and really basic. I like a lot of the scenes it has. I think they work and they're fun, but in case you couldn't tell, like I said earlier, I really love romantic horror, and this is more of a comedy. And when most of the 18+ games in English for a lady audience are comedy and comedic, it's kind of, you're like, alright, can we get like the serious content, please? Please. So I love it, but it's kind of just like, alright, I'm ready for something else. Please, guys. Alright. This is Oz Mafia. It's also an Atome game. This was, I think, the first Atome game that Manga Gamer localized and released. And I remember when I bought it, I was in high school at the time, and I was very excited because it was like a big deal that it was coming out. And I thought it looked beautiful, and the story was super weird. It's really weird, y'all. And I did not like this game. I thought it was pretty boring despite having a super weird story. I liked one of the routes, and you have to unlock that route. It's like a weird brothel route. And anyone who's played this game knows why it's really weird. And like, I didn't even like that route because it was good necessarily. I just liked it because it was something that was different. And I was so bored already after playing it for hours, and then unlocking it, I was finally like, wow, this is something different. It's kind of different, and it kind of stood out to me, so that terrible route was my favorite. And now, alright, we have Yojimbo, the bodyguards, which, this is one of my favorite games. And it's a surprising choice for me. It's also one of the games that my username is partially based on. It's really weird. The art is hideous. When I first played it, this was years ago. This was one of the, I think this was the first Otome game that was officially like localized. First actual Otome game. And I played it years ago, so it was back when we didn't have that many Otome games out. And when I first played it, I was kind of like, alright, well, this looks hideous and stupid. I'm playing this as a joke, lol. I played it. Dude, this game fucking makes me cry. It's not even a sad game. There's just some sad moments, and I just felt like I connected enough with the characters and the storyline and the protagonist to really, like, actually feel the feelings that they were feeling. So, yeah, I love this game very much. I used to have a really sad, depressing tradition when I was in like middle school and high school. If I was having a really sad, lonely New Year's Eve, I would play this visual novel until it reached midnight, and this would be how I would spend New Year's Eve for a few years. I don't know why this game. I think it just started one year, and then I was like, oh, let's make that a tradition. So it was, until I actually started having more friends in college. Anyways, that's depressing, but that's this game, and I love it so much. And now we're on to the last of the PC games. I don't even know if you can understand my sentence, but let's pretend you could. Alright, this is Karana Shoujo. I really have been meaning to play it because it's supposed to be dark and supposed to have good like romance scenes and everything. And one of my friends really loves it, and she thinks that I would like it, and I'm sure I would. But it would not install on my old computer for some reason, and now I have a new one, so I should try again, and I will. But that kind of like set me off from playing it because I was like, alright, well, this isn't working and I have other games to play, but I'll get to it. I'll get to it, I swear. Oh my god, this is just a pile of games that I'm like, I started this and haven't finished it, but we have Umineko. Once again, I have not finished them. I have started them, but it's freaking long, man. And like, I've watched the anime, not that the anime is good. Everyone is probably gonna like be so mad at me. I like the anime, not that like I'm saying it gets the emotional depth that the VN does, but like, I think the anime is fun. And I've read like most of the manga and stuff that are out there, which I think are more respected than the anime. But yeah, Umineko. I'll read it one day. I'll finish it. It's just so long, and I don't have that kind of time. Alright. Here we have Maggot Bates. This was a game that I was very, very excited for the release of. It's from Clockup, who also did Euphoria and Uroge. It's also quite infamous for its content, but in a different way than Euphoria is. But I haven't played it yet. I started it and I was like, oh, but I want to play a different game right now. I don't really want to read right now. And then this summer was just mainly MMORPG summer, so I was hoping to read more VNs, and instead I just played MMOs the whole time, which is fine. That's like progress in a different way. But I'll get to Maggot Bates, I swear. I don't think it's gonna change my life or anything. I've heard that the story is kind of like, but I've heard the two central characters are pretty fun. Not necessarily fun, but pretty interesting and endearing in a way. So I'm excited to finally get to it. And now we have the Switch games. I also have another Switch game pre-ordered. It's a VN obviously, so I'm still waiting on that, but let's go through them. Okay, we'll go through the Otome games first. It's mainly Otome games. The Vita's coming up are mainly Otome games. So we have Pia4, which I haven't played yet because it came out this month and I've been very excited for it. I've heard there are a lot of translation issues and just issues, so that's fun. But I'm excited for it. It seems interesting. I feel like I'm gonna be disappointed and I'm gonna find it similar to Mafia because they're both kind of like Mafia-y things, and I usually like that theme in games, but the way Mafia did it, I hated it, and I feel like this might be like that. Anyways, Pia4. Alright. We have 2 of the Code Realize games. Yeah, the base game and the first fan disc, right? Yeah, that's the first one. Because there's another fan disc coming out on Switch. I don't think it's come out yet on Switch, but it's coming out soon. And I pretty much, because they release so many different versions of Code Realize, they have this game on like every friggin' console. I try to buy them all just because A, I want to support them, and B, I like collecting them, obviously. But this is far from my favorite Otome game series, which sucks because it's like the most popular one at the moment, or at least the one that they're kind of like pushing on us the most. They've released the first fan disc, they've released the second fan disc, they've released the base game, obviously, and they've released them across multiple platforms. And yes, I own multiple copies of the same game, despite me not really liking this series. I don't hate it. It was one of the first Otome games to come out on the Vita, in English that is, so it was kind of a big deal because the Vita was like a huge deal for Otome games, but I'm tired of it. I like one of the characters a whole lot, I like some parts a whole lot, I don't hate it, I'm tired of it, man. I'm so tired of this series. Speaking of tired of this series, I have Collar X Malice and the first fan disc. Yeah, this one's the fan disc, Collar X Malice Unlimited. This is another case of the Otome game market is oversaturated with this specific series. I'm getting tired of Collar X Malice, but it didn't come out in the West quite at the same time as Code Realize. It came out quite a bit later. But it doesn't mean that I'm not allowed to be sick of it. Again, I like it. I think it's decent. I'm just tired of it. I don't need more of this same game. I still have to buy every single copy because I want to own every Otome game, but like, man, why? Please, something new. Please. I know it's easier, obviously, to do something you've already released before, but please, I just want something new. Speaking of which, this is not an Otome game, but I have Raging Loop, which is another one of my all-time favorite games. This game, oh my god, it was like, so I played it right after I played You and Me and Her, and I know I keep sighing and like making annoying noises, but this game is just so good. It really freaking hit me. This is a top 5 favorite game for sure. Dude, it was one of those rare games where I loved the protagonist, which normally when the protagonist is a dude in a game, I just can't really like connect to them on any level. I don't know, I can't really like fully believe it. I can't immerse myself in the story, which I do like to do. It's not like I want to put myself in his shoes necessarily, but I just want to understand better, and it's really difficult for me to do for some reason, because I guess the way most male protagonists are written are just not for me. Not that they're bad, it's just not for me. This man, however, this man is one of those amazing exceptions. I loved him as a protagonist. It wasn't a case of I relate to him, it was a case of I love him. Oh my god. He's amazing. It's one of those cases where there's no harem in this. This is not a romance, it's horror, right? But there are some romantic aspects in it, and there are a few girls in the game who become romantically kind of interested in him. And it's one of those cases where I'm like, yeah, dude, I fully understand why they're into him and why they're into him kind of quickly. Dude, I would be too. Who wouldn't be? He's just an amazing protagonist. I adore him. He's so fun to play as. He's so smart. He's hilarious. He's kind of like not super nice sometimes. Like, he's a good person, but also sometimes you're kind of like, alright man, that was a fucking weird thing to say. He's amazing. I love him, and I love this game. I love other characters too, I swear. I just was very surprised by how much I liked this guy. So yeah, Raging Loop is really good.